Hi, this is Justin with a follow-up video. Hold on.
Say,
Who is it? Yeah.
For lunch, did you order baked chicken or pulled pork?
I already filled out my menu.
No, I'm talking about for today.
I filled it out today.
No, I'm talking about like what you getting for lunch today, for yesterday. Did you order baked chicken or pulled pork?
Um, I think probably big chicken.
Okay, you sure? Because I wanted to confirm. I don't know if they got you and the other Justins mixed up.
Yeah, they do that, and I have better cognitive function. I don't make those kind of mistakes, but I'm not saying anything bad about the employees, but um, I mentioned that to the employees before. I said there's two Justins, and they all they have to do is make a mix up on the meal trays. So yeah.
Okay, so I think they did it again. So yours is going to have a W for his last name because I guess they gave him baked chicken and you pulled pork. Okay?
Gave me what? Pulled
Big.
pork?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. Right. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. So you
Yeah.
want baked chicken, right? Or
Why, are you gonna call the kitchen?
yeah, like if you want pulled pork and that's what I'll just call the kitchen to get him another one because I don't know if they mixed you guys up.
I don't really like pork.
So you want the chicken? Okay, I'll leave yours up. That has his last name, not with everybody else, but up on the
Okay.
okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So, listen, all he needs is a girlfriend, and he watches webcam girls. He needs a girlfriend. The cops said, Chris, he doesn't need to be in jail. He needs a girlfriend. My father's girlfriend told him that. And, like, dude, you've been jacking off every day since you've been a teenager, dude. You need to get laid. You know what I mean? Um, and he needs a dirt bike. His CR80 that he had when he was a teenager, like, listen, his grandparents, successful business owners, have a lot of money, but they act like they don't have any money, and that's how rich white people are. You know what I mean? They've plenty of money and ran successful businesses. My grandmother built, owned, and operated a child care center that started in a small house. They put two large buildings attachments onto it, a basketball court, a big playground, and a swimming pool. And this is a better daycare center than some of the other ones in the area. She was the owner of that place, built that place, and it got bigger over the years. They put more buildings onto it. And they finally just sold everything because they got so old they didn't want to deal with it anymore. But my grandfather owned the Italian restaurant for like 20 years or something like that, and they sold it by the time I was a teenager, or I would have grown up in the restaurant business. You know what I mean? But once they put the bar attachment onto it and got the liquor license, things kind of got chaotic. Um, so, but what I'm saying is that, he needs a dirt bike because when he went through his meditation, the dirt bike came up. The electric RC car that he had, the Rustler that went like 20 miles an hour, like he wanted the nitro one. He just didn't have the money for it. And you're telling me all these years has passed since he's been 15 and he never went to the spy shop, and he liked the spy shop. I mean, and he never got the nice raw C car that he wanted. Like, what went wrong in your life? I'm like, you know. And when I got away from psychiatry, I cognitively woke up. My awareness expanded. I started like doing things that I wasn't doing. I was Googling the reptile show. I was like, I got a job. I started working again. And I was basically disabled by the medication I was taking. I was fat. I was overweight. I had sleep apnea. Do you know what I mean? And I was collecting a bunch of like arachnids and snakes and reptiles in my apartment. Um, and you really need a house to be doing that kind of stuff because your landlord could complain. Do you know what I mean? Um, but in his meditation, he was like, those hobbies, if he wouldn't have been in psychiatry and he would have kept on the track of working, because he was the best worker at McDonald's. I mean, he took the night shift that nobody wanted because he was a good worker and he could do the jobs that nobody wanted to do. And um, I was doing some double shifts, you know, and I ran 10 miles on a treadmill. I jogged 10 miles on a treadmill without a break. And when you're that fit, why would you ever push yourself in psychiatry? And I was like, it was probably because of everything that happened when he was a teenager. Then when he blew that settlement money down in Florida, I mean, that was a young and dumb, stupid move. Like, you didn't have the mentality to have that kind of money. He was still listening to rap music at that time. And as soon as he stopped listening to rap music, the rest of his mentality straightened out on its own. Like, his grandmother was a business owner. If he was in his early 20s and wanted to go to college, his grandmother would have paid for his college. He had that blessing. I mean, most people don't have rich family members that are willing to pay for your college. Do you know what I mean? And I mentioned in my other video, when he was a teenager and he was listening to rap music, that was a therapeutic issue. You know, you're white, you're not from that kind of neighborhood. That was a generational issue too. Like, it was a lot of people that it was on the radio station. Like, a lot of people were listening to rap music. It wasn't, not to single him out or anything. A lot of people were. But you're not from that kind of neighborhood. You know what I mean? Um, but these hobbies that he had, um, they would have continued into his adulthood. Like riding dirt bikes, he wants a Banshee too, a four wheeler, a Banshee. The neighbor across the street had one. It was all souped up and everything. And he put like a bunch of money into it, had all these upgraded parts on it. And he wants one of them too. But he wants a KT specifically. He wants a KTM 150 designed by Pro Circuit. And he wants to keep the upgrades basic at first. He wants to just upgrade the air filter, put a Pro Circuit pipe on it and a silencer on it, and he wants to get Pro Circuit pipe, silencer, air filter, upgrade the chain, the tires, and the graphics. And then we can go from there. So he wants to do basic upgrades at first. Because the 150 is already the big bore version of the 125. So it's on the same frame as the 125. It's just the 150. And there's a YouTube video. If you go on YouTube, there's this perfect riding video of a KTM 150. And like, thank you to whoever made that video because it was a dream come true watching that video. Like, he started up the bike, he went on the trail, did the jumps around the turns and everything. And that's all the video is. There's no nonsense. It's straight to the dirt bike. Do you know what I mean? It's a perfect video. I can watch that video over and over again, and it brings me a sense of joy. Um, but these hobbies, like, at the time he had this CR80, he wanted a KX100, but that was like a long time ago. That was like 15 years ago. So now he wants a KTM150, and he liked FMF pipes before, but now he wants a Pro Circuit. Do you know what I mean? So that changed. Now he wants Pro Circuit, and I gotta get the prescription because I have glasses. I gotta get prescription riding goggles. You know what I mean? Um, so, and the electric RC car that he had in his meditation, like, you're telling me 15 years later, like, because of psychiatry, you weren't working. Like, because of psychiatry, you weren't working. When he got off the mess, he started working again. You know what I mean? Like, because of psychiatry, you weren't working. You were on restricted finances on Social Security, and you never bought. Like, his grandmother was a payee with his back payments, and now he handles his own money. But you're telling me with those back payments, your grandmother didn't let you take like $400 out of it to get your Nitro RC car. Those are therapeutic things too. Like, when you talk about therapy, like, he always wanted the Nitro one. They go like 50 miles an hour versus like the electric one that only goes like 20. Do you know what I mean? And I was learning how to work on it. I upgraded the speed control in it, which burned out the battery, which burned out the motor in it. Because once you upgrade a speed control, you got to upgrade the motor. Then you got to upgrade the battery for the car to function right. Like, and I didn't have enough money to upgrade all these parts. So I upgraded the speed control, but I didn't up. Then I burned out the motor, and it sat in my closet on a shelf for a while. Do you know what I mean? But I was learning how to work on the electric RC cars and upgrade the parts. Like, who is it? Housekeeping?
Yeah, I'm getting her toilet paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he would have been up. He could have got a job at a hobby shop. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay.
He could have got a job at a hobby shop, like working on and repairing RC cars that came in. He could have got a job at the desk. You know what I mean? He could have got a job at a motocross shop, even like in retail, like selling the dirt bikes on the floor and stuff like that. Working at the register, like he could have been doing a lot of things, and it's all because of psychiatry. Do you know what I mean? Psychiatry ruined his life. He was 286 pounds, but before that, he ran 10 miles on a treadmill. And he was too fit to be in psychiatry. Like, in the psychiatrist I first went to, he looked at me and he shook his head no. He wasn't going to give me anything at all. And I asked him for the medication, and I got the advertisement from a rap song. And then, like I said, if probation wouldn't have been involved, that script would have went into the trash can, and I would have moved on with my life. As soon as I went into a follow-up appointment and asked for more of it, and then saw what it was doing to my metabolism, this script would have went into the trash. It was probation. They were telling him, they saw he was on medication. They put him in a psych program. At first, he thought it was great, but then he wanted out of it, and he had to complete his probation, or they threatened to put him in jail. And, like, that's a violation of human rights. I was like, and he didn't know how to speak up and advocate for himself. Do you know what I mean? The only reason why he was signing himself into Building 50 is because he was isolated in his apartment. He was always by himself. He had nobody to talk to. He didn't have a girlfriend. And when you gain that kind of weight from the medication, you're not going to find a girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? That's going to affect your sex life too. Do you know what I mean? I mentioned this in my other videos. You got to watch them. But, his looks are to his advantage. He looks good. He has good genetics. So he can attract the girlfriend by the type of physique that he has. And when you put psychiatry in the equation, it's preventing him from reaching his fitness goals. It's ruining his body. When I was going to the YMCA all of those years, I was lifting weights. I wasn't doing any cardio because of the medication, but I was working out on the weight room area. But I had one of the best physiques at the YMCA, and nobody at the YMCA could tell. They weren't aware of this because I was overweight from psychiatric medication. And then after he dropped all that weight when he left that program, if he would walk back into the YMCA, everybody would look at him and be like, oh my gosh, you lost all that weight. Look at him now. Do you know what I mean? So it really is an atrocious story. Like, you should see what's happening out in California because they heard about this story. And because my information was broadcasted and I told everybody about it. But you should hear, in California, when they go up to the psychiatrist and they say, doctor, how many patients have you cured? And they hold the microphone up to their face, and they do those undercover investigations when they go in there and they go in and they get diagnosed with something and they put it on YouTube. And they said I was in there for 5 minutes with this lady and she diagnosed me with this. Like, you should see what's happening in California with the anti-psychiatry movement after they got a hold of this story. Um, that's all I have time for. Thanks for listening.